Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Our host, Brian Duprey, is the world's most sought-after childcare coach, having helped tens of thousands of childcare owners from around the globe take their business to the next level. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, our host, Brian Duprey.
Hello, welcome to the Friday training podcast series of Childcare Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Duprey. So excited to be here today. And we're doing an 8-part series on the 8 pillars of leverage in your childcare business. So this is going to be a series, and you're on a different week every single week, and I'm going to be on, and Carol's going to be with me as well, talking about a different pillar of leverage. Now, what is leverage in your business? Leverage allows you to work a little bit of effort and get a lot of results. Sort of like a pulley, right? A pulley helps, one person be able to lift hundreds of pounds. That's what a pulley does. Well, leverage in your business is like a pulley, and a little bit of effort goes a long way, meaning that your business could run without you. One person could run 100 schools using leverage, but if you don't use leverage, one person could barely run one school, and a lot of you are struggling with that right now. So I hope you pay attention to these 8 weeks. Yes, this is repeated content. This is actually recorded aired previously. But the reason I'm doing that is sort of like people who read the same book twice. You try to get the information twice. Childcare is basics. There are basics to childcare. And childcare ownership is very important, but there's really 8 solid basics, which are the 8 pillars of leverage. If you just keep repeating those 8 things over and over again, you are going to make millions and millions of dollars just working on these 8 pillars. This is why I'm repeating this content, because it is the basics, but you have to master the basics. As Coach Lombardi said, you have to master the beginning. When he would walk into a locker room, and he was a football coach, he would always bring a football in and he'd say, "Gentlemen, this is a football," because he wanted to break training down to the basics. Football is tackling, throwing, and running, right? And it's just basics over and over and over again. People paid millions of dollars to do the basics over and over again and just be a little bit better at everybody else. Well, the same thing here. Our 8 pillars of leverage are our basics. So I don't care if you've heard this message 100 times, watch it again. Listen to these 8-week series, and then join us at the Childcare Genius Leverage Conference, September 28th to October 1st at the Iberostar Bavaro Resort in the Dominican Republic, where we're going to learn a whole bunch. The whole conference is focusing on all these 8 pillars of leverage. We're going to learn them all. We're going to have you really in a good financial position, a good marketing position, full enrollment with great culture, systems, operations. We're going to be covering it all there. We're done at 1 o'clock every day. We've got poolside coaching each and every day. It is an amazing experience. We got a money back guarantee. We got no done. We will help you with everything. Great speakers. Go to childcaregenius.com right now. Get your tickets if you don't have them, and go into the conference tab. Hit the Leverage Conference. We'll see you there. But I'm gonna sign off now, and I want you to listen to this awesome, amazing episode of Carol and I talking about one of the pillars of leverage in your childcare business. Enjoy. So we're going to talk about staffing here. Welcome back to Childcare Genius Podcast. This week we're going to talk about staffing and give you a couple tips to help you with your staffing at your childcare center. Recommendation: one thing we found out that Career Plug is actually better than Indeed. We've been using that for a while. We have a partnership with Career Plug. All of our university students get a 50% discount with them. So we just found out they're better than Indeed. You've been using it for a while.
Because they post on Indeed
yes,
and
you get
other platforms.
And it's a much cheaper price.
Yeah.
Make sure that one suggestion with staffing is to do a Zoom interview before you do a live interview. One thing I found out that since the pandemic, there's a lot of social anxiety, and people have anxiety about being around other people in person. there's something about this generation of 20s, 22 to 32. Just seems like they have an anxiety of being around people, like talking on the phone. Yeah, I've seen that even with our children. They don't they want to text. They don't want to interact like live with a human. And so we recommend a Zoom interview first, which allows you to establish rapport with somebody, and it'll cut down your no-shows by half. And one thing we're noticing with clients in our center too, that we're getting better luck with the under 20 generation than we are the over 20 generation. The 18 to 20 seem like they have a better work ethic than our 20 to 25s. So don't be afraid to hire somebody young, 18, 19, 20 years old. We just seems like they're getting a better work ethic. You're seeing that too, right?
Yeah. And I think that part of that is COVID. We had a lazy year with COVID. And the 22, 23-year-olds, they had a year where they didn't have to work as hard.
Yeah.
And I think that changed people.
Yeah. The 18, 19, 20, they were in high school during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like they had a better work ethic. They had to deal during the pandemic with masks and stuff. So it just seems like they have something happened. You know what I think it was? They spent a lot of time with their parents. And they spent a lot of time at home. And, maybe they taught them some good stuff at home during that time. Rather than going to school. Maybe they learned some good skills. They were virtual school.
Watch their parents working hard. Maybe
that might be it. Yeah. There's something magical there. So don't discount those 18, 19, 20-year-olds. They say, oh, they're too young to work at my school. We're finding that they're better off. And who knows?
We have a 16-year-old that's doing a great job.
Excellent. So it is out there. So don't discount that in there as well. Be quick to hire nowadays. We always used to say slow to hire, quick to fire, but you got to try to be quick to hire, but also got to be quick to fire. You got to be quick to hire because if you don't hire them, somebody else is going to grab them pretty quick in this economy. But you've got to get rid of them quick too if they're not a good fit. Yeah. Don't keep them in too long. Toxic employees are bad. So quick to hire, quick to fire. 2025, it's shaping up to be a better year for us as owners. It's been a buyer's market or basically a teacher's market for the last 2 or 3 years where they could demand higher salaries and you have to pay off this large amount of things. Things are starting to stable out now. We're starting to get more applicants. And as centers start closing, right now there's too many childcare centers in America in a lot of markets. Grant money has kept way too many schools open for way too long. And as those schools start going out of business because there's just too much out, the free market hasn't been allowed to correct. As that corrects, there should be excess of staffing members that you're going to be able to hire at a lower price than you've hired people in the past. So that should stabilize for us going forward. That's my prediction.
And also, we have staff that are demanding what hours they want to work, and that's going to change too.
Yeah, it'll become much better for it. So watch for overstaffing. That's the last bit of advice on the staffing is the first 2 hours and the last 2 hours of the day are notorious for overstaffing. And it happens because the director is normally too busy during that time to notice the staffing issues. Mm-hmm. And teachers never volunteer that I'm only watching one child in my room because guess what? It's push for them. So they're not going to tell you they're overstaffed at all, ever, never, ever. And a director won't notice it because they're busy dealing with parents, they're answering the phone, things like that. They're busy the first 2 and the last 2. So that's why it's important to do 15-minute counts, knowing how many kids are there, how many staff are there in the first 2 and the last 2 hours of the day, and adjust schedules accordingly. So this is just a quick episode with some quick staffing tips. We hope these help. Next week, we're going to tackle into the cool subject of finances as we wrap up 2024 with the Childcare Genius Podcast. So we'll see you next week, Childcare Genius Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.